Throughout history, power passes from one nation to another. Persia, for example, was the world's most powerful nation at the time of Alexander the Great. Rome became a great power under Julius Caesar, and France was so under Napoleon. Through the middle of the 20th century, Britain was the most powerful nation in the world. Britain, however, suffered terribly during World War II. And after the war, power passed to the United States.
One can almost name the day when this happened. It was February 21st, 1947. Officials at the British Embassy in Washington called the American State Department. They had two messages from their government. The first was about Greece. The situation there was critical. Greece had been occupied by Germany during the war. Now it was split by a bitter civil war. On one side of the fighting was the royal family, supported by Britain. On the other side were communist-led rebels supported by Yugoslavia and the Soviet Union. British forces had helped keep Greece from becoming communist during 1944 and 1945. A few years later, Britain could no longer help. It needed all its strength to rebuild from the World War. So, on that February day in 1947, Britain told the United States it would soon end all support for Greece.
Britain's second message that day was about Turkey. Turkey was stronger than Greece, but it too might become communist unless it received outside help. Britain warned the United States that the Soviet Union would soon extend its control all the way across Eastern Europe to the Eastern Mediterranean. It called on President Harry Truman to provide strong American support to help Greece and Turkey resist the communist threat. Britain, in effect, was asking the United States to take over leadership of the Western world. The United States was ready to accept its new position.
For months, relations between the United States and the Soviet Union had been growing worse. The two countries had fought together as allies in the Second World War, but Soviet actions after the war shocked the American people. The Soviet Union wanted to block Western political and economic influence in Central and Eastern Europe. It wanted to extend its own influence instead. So, after the war, it forced the establishment of communist governments in a number of countries.